Ever get tripped up by phrasal verbs? I know I have. Those tricky little combos like give up or look after.
Yeah.
Today we're taking a deep dive into a pretty wild idea.
Okay.
What if we just got rid of them? Banned them completely?
Banned phrasal verbs.
I know, it sounds extreme, right?
It does.
But hey there, want to share your thoughts on this?
Yeah, hi, it's David. Yes, I propose this topic because I've been ages learning phrasal verbs. And in the end, I just thought, why we don't get rid
Hey
of
David,
them?
thanks for chiming in.
Yeah, we feel your pain.
It's so true. They can be so hard to understand.
Especially for people learning English.
Like look down on or put up with.
Right? They have nothing to do with the words.
No wonder you'd want to...
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I'm asking you why they are so difficult. I mean, why they are so difficult? You've got simple words that can rephrase a phrasal verb. So why to use the for prepositions to say a meaning of in a single word you can say this meaning. You know what I mean?
What's fascinating here is how they evolve, David.
Exactly.
It's not always about efficiency.
No, there's history and culture wrapped up.
We're about to unpack that, I promise.
Yeah.
Want to ban them?
Well, stick with us because we're about to get into it.
I mean, honestly, banning them altogether,
It does feel kind of drastic.
it's like, how could we even talk without run into or come across?
Oh yeah, let's hear it.
Yeah, but have you heard about the implications of the learning phrasal verbs for many students? Have you heard about the phrasal verb syndrome? Have you heard of that?
Whoa, phrasal bird syndrome.
That's a new one for me, David.
Me neither.
What's fascinating is it highlights a real struggle.
Yeah, what happens with that?
If we connect... Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah. Many students of English, they are just getting nightmares. They cannot sleep. They are anxious. They even get into panic just in the time that they have to learn phrasal verbs and they have to go through an exam. So that's why it's making so many pain to many people that let's be honest, we should ban on phrasal verbs. I mean, let's make a request to the parliament in order to ban the phrasal verbs. What do you think about that?
Wow, David, that sounds incredibly intense.
Nightmares. Panic. Seriously.
It sounds like it's causing real anxiety for some learners.
That's rough.
I mean, thinking about cognitive load,
Explain that.
it is like how many of these things are there?
A lot.
Trying to remember all of them would be overwhelming.
Especially when they aren't clear.
Like, look after is less intuitive than give up,
It's like your brain gets overloaded.
and you can't learn anything else.
It's more than memorizing.
It is. You have to know how to use them.
That could be tricky.
So that adds to the difficulty.
The idea of actually petitioning Parliament,
That's a bold move.
a ban, huh?
This raises an important...
Yeah, I just
Yeah,
prepared a little letter to send to the parliament. It says like that. So tell me if you find it right. To the Honourable Parliament of the United Kingdom, we, the frustrated learner of English worldwide, demand the immediate abolition of phrasal verbs. These irrational linguistic traps serve no purpose but to confuse and torment us. Why say put up with
Okay, David,
when...
so you've got a draft ready to go.
That's dedication.
I mean, it sounds like you're serious.
What's fascinating here is... Oh, go for
Oh
it.
yeah, you didn't let me finish. So why say put up with when tolerate exists? Enough is enough. Ban them for the sake of clarity and justice. Sincerely, victims of Parliament. What do you think about that?
Okay, David, you are making a really good point.
If we connect this to the bigger picture, it is about efficiency.
Yeah, you want to make English easier.
And it's a global language.
It feels like...
Hey, yeah. what's
Yeah,
up?
yeah, that's the point. Let's make it easier. Let's make life simple and simpler, please. Even for the people in the United Kingdom, it will be much easier. Just be honest. I mean, without phrasal verbs, life will be so much easier. I mean, believe me, it's like a little bit like a pain in the ass, you know what I mean? So let's make things much easier and smoother. Thank you.
I hear you, David.
You're really passionate about this.
You feel like it would simplify things?
Make communication more straightforward.
Yes.
I could see that.
This raises an important question about efficiency.
Yeah.
Well, language is tied to identity, though.
What do you mean by that?
Changing it can feel like a personal attack.
I can see that.
It sounds like you hit a nerve.
It does.
Phrasal verbs, though, aren't everywhere.
They are.
You're probably using them all the time, David.
Even without realizing it.
You would be hard-pressed to get rid of them.
Is there something else you can say instead?
Tolerate, right.
But they're everywhere.
They have wormed their way in.
Okay, so you're asking why use a phrasal verb?
Yeah, why say put up with when you say tolerate?
That's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
What's fascinating here is language is so tied to identity,
Explain.
so changing it can feel like a personal attack.
Whoa, yeah.
Think about it. We use language to connect.
How you speak shows who you are.
Exactly.
So getting rid of phrasal verbs,
It would change how people communicate.
it's a debate that's been going on for ages.
This whole ban thing does feel kind of drastic.
Can we even talk without run into or come across?
It's about efficiency and nuance, though.
It's not just taking away how we talk.
It's like painting with primary colors only.
We would be missing all those shades.
They add those nuances.
Color to the language.
Exactly.
I mean, it feels like a hidden code sometimes,
So many of them to learn.
especially as a learner.
For learners, it may be simpler without them.
But for native speakers, it would be weird.
If we connect this to the bigger picture.
It's about language and culture.
So getting rid of phrasal verbs is complicated.
It is.
This raises an important question.
This is a question about everyday speech.
I mean, language has changed.
Oh, go for
Yeah,
it.
but we can do it step by step. I mean, we don't have to do it from one day to another. I mean, we can do it step by step. For instance, to the children, from now on, we are not going to teach them the phrasal verbs in the school. So smoothly, it will beget people that they will never understand what phrasal verbs are. So that will be much easier for us. Thank you.
What's fascinating is, David, language evolves.
It does.
Over time, new generations speak differently.
It's true.
You were talking about a gradual shift.
Like phasing them out.
Starting with children in schools.
It would be interesting.
That does raise an important question.
What is that?
That's like saying one way is better.
What do you mean?
It's a tricky call.
The words don't give it away either.
Overwhelming when you're just learning.
So many combinations to remember.
You need efficiency and nuance.
You hit the nail on the head with that.
How should we handle this then?
Is there a better way to teach them?
Maybe we should be more mindful of how we use them.
Now, think about shared experiences.
The unique things about being an English speaker.
Be more mindful.
In formal writing, maybe use single word verbs.
Language evolves, though,
It changes naturally.
forcing change.
That might not work. I mean, think about the petition. It might be hard to get everyone on board.
Many people may be very resistant.
Oh, yeah. Let's hear it.
Yeah, let's start banning the phrasal verbs on BBC, at least. I mean, all BBC production cannot use phrasal verbs. What do you think about that?
Wow, David, that's a really interesting idea.
That's fascinating.
A phrasal verb-free BBC.
That would be quite something.
Yes.
The BBC is a big cultural force.
This raises an important question.
What's that?
What about creative freedom?
Yeah, you're taking it away.
I mean, some writers love phrasal verbs for informal dialogue.
It would be a big change.
It would be very noticeable.
But hey, it's a start.
In casual conversation, though, let them rip.
It gives your speech Oh, back to our listener.
Well,
What's
if,
up?
if some writers can use phrasal verbs, they can pay a tax on that. So they will be able to use phrasal verbs more moderate. You know what I mean? So a tax phrasal verb obligation.
Okay, David, so it's a moderation strategy.
Like a carbon tax, but for language?
I get it.
This raises an interesting question, though.
What's that?
Where do you draw the line?
Yeah, what counts as a phrasal verb?
And who defects the tax rate?
It could get complicated.
But it's an interesting way to think about moderation.
So yeah, it gives your speech color, right?
You know, language is always changing, David.
It's a living thing, you know.
Phrasal verbs are part of it.
Instead of banning them, though,
Maybe we should make peace with them,
like tolerating them, like you mentioned.
making it easy.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
Go
well,
on.
oh well, if you don't want to ban them, probably, I mean, for the students, they don't have to pass a test on phrasal verbs. I mean, the phrasal verbs are not tested. You know what I mean?
I get you, David.
So not testing them
I mean, making it easier.
and keeping the language.
Yeah.
That's a good
I'm
compromise.
thinking about it.
They could still learn it.
But it's not high pressure.
That could remove the panic.
Reduce the cognitive overload.
But how do we even enforce a ban like that?
Grammar police.
Tickets for saying figure out.
This raises an important question.
Yeah, what replaces them?
I never thought about that before.
Thought about that. Oh, another phrasal verb.
Huh?
They're everywhere.
So just single word verbs then.
Possibly.
New combos will probably pop up though.
Just like slang terms.
People use language. Does how it changes?
Not about a rule book, David.
It's definitely got us thinking, David.
We have so many thoughts.
Maybe we should teach them better too.
Focus on real world examples, maybe.
Focus on actual use. Yep. Go on.
Yeah, teach them better. How can you teach phrasal verbs better? I mean, there is no way to understand all these bloody words together with prepositions. Please.
Well, David, you're right. It's hard.
How to make it easier, though?
If we connect this to shared experience.
All makes it more memorable.
Show them in context.
Focus on actual usage, not just rules.
So make it relevant.
Exactly.
Say, don't just tell.
Make it memorable.
Well, thanks for the food for thought.
Yeah, that was great, David.
Taxing, banning, phasing out, all wild.
These are just a few ideas from today.
From one little linguistic thing.
I'm honestly rethinking everything.
Some people really like them.
They add a lot to our language.
Banning them isn't simple.
No, that's for sure.
A very complex issue,
Right.
But it highlights language use.
For sure.
It's a fun experiment.
It is.
It leaves us with a question.
If you made a new language,
Especially thinking about phrasal verbs.
would you use them?
Would you avoid confusion?
Or would you add depth?
That's a tough one, David.
Clarity versus expressive language.
Next time I use one, though.
I'll think about it.
Appreciate the history.
The flavor they add.
Well, thanks for joining us.
I hope you have a good day, David.
Goodbye, David.
See you next time.
And that's all the time we have.
Bye-bye.